Well, g'day curd nerds. Today we're doing the taste test for Dry Jack. So Dry Jack was, or is, a lovely looking cheese. Some people say it looks like a rhinoceros's butthole, but that aside, it's a good looking cheese. It still has a fairly good coating of the rub on it, which I'm a little bit surprised seeing how much I've had to clean this cheese up. But let me show you before we start the taste test how I cleaned this cheese up just before we started the taste test.
So here we have the cheese fresh out of the cheese cave. Now some of you may be thinking, oh my goodness, that's not good. Well, it's just mould. Now, the mould hasn't penetrated the cheese, it is just on the surface of the cheese. Now I'm using a soft nail brush, and don't forget to wear a mask when you do this. Just a soft nail brush, and I'm just brushing the surface of the cheese. Now a little bit of the rub has come off, but that's okay. There's no problems with that whatsoever, especially when we're just about to taste the cheese. So I'm getting into the little belly button space, making sure that all of the dry mould that has grown on the outside has been removed. Nice and easy. And there you go, there's an after shot, not a skerrick of blue mould on the cheese, top or bottom. Anyway, back to Gav.
So as you can see, a nice soft nail brush works very well in cleaning up cheeses like this. It had some surface mould, nothing has gone into the cheese. There are no cracks in the cheese whatsoever, which is absolutely fantastic. Very happy with that. The cheese is firm, as you would expect, seeing it's called Dry Jack, but it still has some moisture. You can feel it. It's not damp. It just feels like it's not totally dry, rock hard sort of cheese. So without further ado, let's just cut into it and see what it tastes like. From all reports that I've read on the internet, it is more of a grating cheese than anything else. So let's try this out. That cut fairly well. A little bit. Right. Did we get all the way through? No, not yet. There we go. Right, and what we have is a lovely looking cheese. Oh, smells nice too. Smells like a strong cheddary, Parmesan-y sort of smell. So that is really cool. I'm just cut it into quarters. And as far as the rind goes, yeah, sure, there is some rind. It doesn't dry out any more in the middle than it has in the thicker part of the cheese. But yeah, it has variable thicknesses. Remember, it was in a cheesecloth, and that was how we pressed it. So yeah, I think it's turned out very well so far. Cocoa powder, still a little bit coming off on my hands, but that's okay. We have a tea towel to fix all that. And the cheese looks pretty good. So, like I said, it looks a nice colour on the inside. Well, it's a bit yellowish, which is good. So let's just put these bits aside. And we will cut a slice or two, and we'll give it a taste. Now there are some small mechanical holes. I would expect that because it's not pressed under pressure. Well, not a lot of pressure anyway. So there's no air bubbles or anything like that. But yeah, it's all mechanical and very small. So not late blown or anything like that, which is good. So let's try some of this cheese. It bends and it snaps, as you expect in a dry cheese. This is 2.5 months old. I could have aged it out to 3. It's a very small cheese. These cheeses typically age out, if they're a lot bigger, out to 6 to 12 months to be even drier. But I didn't want it to dry too much. It wasn't cracking in the cheese fridge. I just had it on a pine board in the cheese fridge. The humidity in the cheese fridge was about 80% humidity. Just naturally all by itself. I didn't use a ripening box or anything like that. And it seems to work out all right. So let's try it, shall we? It's got a lovely umami flavour. Bit like, well, it's a well-aged, tastes like a well-aged cheddar and has some notes of a harder Italian cheese as well. Good table cheese, this one. That is very nice. I didn't know what to expect. I'll try some of the outer rind. That is very nice. Definitely dry than a cheese I would normally have. It's grainy as well. You can taste the graininess. No crystals or anything like that. It's not aged long enough. Little bit of, you can't really taste the rub. You can't taste the cocoa powder or anything like that. But yeah, slight pepperiness, because we did use pepper in the rub as well. So I used some white pepper and the cocoa powder in the first initial rub. Not much of a peppery hit at all, but a nice all-round cheese that people really enjoy, probably because of its unique appearance, but the flavour is just lovely. I could eat this all day. It's really nice. Yeah, that is really good. Oh. So, I think if you grated it, it would be equally as good. A nice burst of flavour there because you got more surface area. But as it stands, you know, I think it's a great cheese. So if you haven't made dry jack yet, I definitely would recommend that you give it a go. It's a delicious little cheese, simple enough. The rubbing was a little bit more extra work, and brushing off the any moulds that formed on the rind of the cheese, but no real issues really. It was kind of like set and forget. Every week or so I just gave it a brush. It was a dry brush. There was no extra moisture added. I didn't use a brine solution or anything like that, because the mould only grew on the surface of the cocoa powder, on the surface of the rub. It didn't go into the cheese. So perfect for, you know, easy affinage and that sort of thing. What I'm going to do, I'm going to consume these two bits now, and I'm going to vacuum pack this half here, and we'll see if that ages out any further over the next, you know, 3 to 6 to, you know, year, and see if it develops further in flavour. I don't really want to mature it without some sort of protection now. I don't think, I do think that it will start to crack sooner rather than later. But the moisture content's really good. It's not moist. It's certainly a little bit drier than a cheddar, but a little bit moister than a Parmesan, if that makes sense. So in the middle there, with a nice little flavour profile. So give dry jack a try. It's well worth it. It's a good cheese to make. So perfect. Really like it. Let me know down in the comment if you tried dry jack before, or if you've made it yourself and what the result was. I think this is a great little recipe. I wouldn't change it any way, shape or form. I think it stands on its own. And yeah, it's It's a good cheese. It's a good cheese. I love it. If you like the content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up or a like down just below there. And if you want to see more content or you want to financially support the channel, you can do so by hitting the join button down below, or there is a link to my Patreon page in the video description. Well, thank you for watching, Curd Nerds, and I'll see you next time.